What's going on, dudes? It's your boy, The Real Venom, and welcome to episode 1 of series 2 of Rags to Riches. I'm going to do a quick recap of the rules before we get started. The rules are, I start with this as my backpack. If you're wondering why I've got a bunch of robo hats, go and check out the previous video, which is episode 0, where I discussed that we were doing a challenge. Basically, if I unboxed an unusual, I wouldn't be able to use the keys. I would have to start with that unusual. Unfortunately, the opening, as you could tell, didn't go very well, but we did get this bited beak, which is worth a key. So I'm going to start out this episode of the series and start the series by trading all of these hats for metal and a key. And then basically from there, we're going to do some trades and see how we go. The rules of the series are pretty simple. I've got to start with the 10 keys. I am not allowed to use friends. I've got a lot of trading friends on Steam. I'm not allowed to use any of them for special deals. I'm not allowed to scam, shark. I'm not allowed to manipulate prices. I can use any trading tools, including going onto trade servers, bazaar.tf, trade bots, whatever I find. As of last series, I noticed that the debt counter was pretty good as well. So we're going to have that as well because we do have a little bit of metal here and we do have a backup key just in case. But the debt counter will be there as well. I'll be attempting to clear it up at the start of each episode or during the episode just to make sure it's minimal. I'll be keeping track of profit and how much we've got in pure, and if we've got unusuals, what unusuals we've got. So all of that will be shown on screen. Just keep an eye on the bottom corners for that. If you do like these videos, remember to drop a like on them. It really does help a lot. And let's get started with the first trade. So with the bited beak, I'm just selling this to one of the bots. I've sent an offer to Gordon Freeman, but I'm still waiting on it. So I'm just going to sell this one to Dispenser, and hopefully it will come through quicker. So the second trade here is selling 13 of the hats here, and we're getting 25.55, which is pretty good. It was a bit better than scrap.tf. Let me go and see what else we can sell to other bots. This one here, pretty simple. Selling these, the Mecha Meaties, I didn't even realize was actually worth a bit more. So selling these for some pure. Pretty simple one. Hat, 1.33. Hat, metal, you get the idea. And I've just switched sides so you can see everything, but after I put this in, and this in, I'm going to quickly craft up a refined metal. For those who are wondering what tool I'm using, it's called Jenga's Item Manager. It's one that basically allows me to manipulate my backpack very quickly. It is not going to be able to get you vac banned because it doesn't offer any advantages other than fast backpack movement and crafting without going into the game. Robin Walker from Valve confirmed that it would not get you vac banned, but it is a really cool tool. I'll drop it in the description so you guys can see it. But all those trades are done, so we've now got 11 keys, and I'd say almost another key. So we could be looking at an unusual that's worth, like, you know, buying that at 12. I could ask if it's just a bit less, because it's only like 7 refined off. But that's a good start. So we've got 11 keys, 45 refined. Let's get started with the first actual unusual trade. So before I actually get started with the whole trading thing, I just want to quickly mention when it comes to trades, how I advertise them. Let me just move this down. There we go. So as you can see here, this is the kind of ads I do when I'm looking for my first unusual or when I'm just trying to flip unusual to pure to unusual to pure. Basically, I list how much I have in stock and mention that I'm buying unusuals for a discounted price, making it clear that they must be at least 20% off because I'm buying those at a discount. Now, you can usually go, if you go 15%, you've got yourself a very, very small margin to work with. So say if there's an unusual worth 10 keys. If I bought it at 7.5, I've got a bit of room to play with, like 8, 8.5, maybe even 9. I'll buy it at 8.5 though, I've only got a little bit of room to play with. So asking for a fair bit of a discount is not unreasonable. If you're going like, they must be like 30 to 40% off, you must be like trying to buy really hard to sell quick sells. Because someone would only come to you to sell that if it's bottom of the barrel sort of thing. Like a robotic hat with kilowatt worth 7 keys. But with this, it's a good way to show that I have 11 keys ready to go. I'm happy to buy all kinds of things. I'm going to keep an eye out on backpack.tf and Bazaar in case there's something that's of value that would be worth it. I'm looking for a pretty easy trade. But I just wanted to show off the ad before we get started with the trades. All right, actual first trade coming up. So another thing I highly recommend when you're getting started with trading is looking in these, getting yourself premium. It's really cheap for premium. It's about $5 a month. But this will allow you to search discounted items specifically. So I can go into the advanced search. We'll go to quality, unusual, classified, sort by discount percentage if you really, really want to look for a discount like this. But this will come up with a lot of taunts. So what I usually do is I go general, cosmetic as well. So it's just cosmetics. And like that, now I have the highest discounted unusuals. And you can see here, so Dead President Hermes is 12 keys. Normally it's worth 22, which is not even slight. No. Like when you get something like that and you want to have a look and see, 4 years ago, very outdated price, one seller at 12, one seller at 15, buyers at 9. So something like that's not worth it, but this is a good place to have a look. Something like this would be interesting. A Smoking Cloud Crasher, 4 years ago, very old price. Quick buyer at 9, no other sellers. So it's an interesting unusual that I could start with. I'm going to keep an eye on it because the guy isn't online. But it seems like it could be a good trade. But just having a look through there, as I mentioned at the start of my last series, it's the main place I look there, bazaar.tf, making sure I'm looking for a solid discount. Now, all the rambling, this is actually going to be the first trade. Sorry, I interrupted again. Something I noticed when looking at a lot of these low-priced items is a lot of the robo items are hard to sell, but the biggest thing is when you're checking an unusual, like this is a 40% discount. So when I go to have a look though, it is a 9 month ago price, but then just look at your other sellers and buyers. Usually a 6 to 7 key buy would usually mean like an 8 to 9 sell. There is 3 of them on the market at 8, and because none of them are selling, makes me think that this hat's not going to be something worth buying. This Prickle Horb is 2 years ago, so it's an outdated price, but we've got 8.2 there, which is 8 keys, 14 ref, and then a 10 key seller. I could potentially look at like 11 keys maybe, but considering the bot, if you look at the history of it as well, you can see how long it was between sales. And so someone had it here on autobot.tf, received it there in a trade from probably Cheeto, and then it was sold, like given to another bot. So there was no sale in that period. Might be an interesting one. I might actually look at picking this one up to see what I could do with it, but not having high hopes. Let's have a look. So while scrolling through quicksell.store, I did find this one for 7.95 keys. It's a bubbling pom-pommed profocteur. So hard to say. It's going for 7.95, which is just under 8. Even if I sell it at 8.5, that's still another key profit, and it still gives me some keys to play with if I want to do an upgrade, for example. The margin is basically a key between them, but between the next guy, I could go up to about 8 keys, 25 refined, no dramas. So that is definitely looking like a decent option to start with. The hardest thing is selling super low tier unusuals, just because like they're super low tier. People aren't looking for much profit. So if I could say I'm the cheapest seller on market, even better. So let's have a quick look around. If nothing else, I'll pick that one up. Okay, after thinking about it for a fair while, as you can see at the top, I've had a lot of options. I had the Prickle Horb here, the Platinum Pickle Horb. It's a 1 seller on the market, but it's a 2-year-old price and decent margins over here. But I decided that Robo hats are a little bit too hard to sell as your first hat. If I get room to make a second hat, I'll definitely consider buying that. The Cloud Crasher was another one I was considering, but it's a 4-year-old price at 17 to 18, 1 seller at 10 and buyer at 9. So I would have to go up to like 11 or 12. And the guy on his profile is actually trying to quick sell it at 9, even though it's an old price. And short history with not a lot of trade. So I knew that it was going to be kind of hard to sell. But I did find that green confetti bloke's bucket hat here. It's a green confetti hat. It's for the sniper, which is good. Unfortunately, it will be taking some of my metal out of my main inventory, which is kind of painful. But I will still accept that, get it in, and we'll have a look at the hat. I'm purchasing this. It says it was for 8 keys, but it's 7 keys, 45 refined. So I'm just going to accept this trade, and then we're going to go in game and have a look at it. And as you can see here it is in game. Decent effect. It's not one of my favorite hats, but still, it's a nice low tier effect on a decent hat. And I did pick it up for just under 8 keys. So I'm going to look at starting at about 9 to 10. Because I'm the cheapest seller on the market, I can afford to go up to that. It's saying it's roughly worth 12 keys, but that's 3 years ago. And 14 is the next best. And that one doesn't look like it's been sold for a while. So I'm going to start at about 10 keys. And then if I can't do it, I'm going to drop to 9. But even if I have to go to 8, I'd paid less than 8. So that's profit in my books. So let's go on to the next trade. Alright, so I was hanging around on Firepower because Vatican seems to no longer exist. And Sky here wanted to offer his Valiant Vortex Mustachio, which is worth about 13 keys. As a 1-for-1, which honestly is really nice, as you see. Shout out to Sky for being a homie, so that's like a solid unusual. Even if I have to quick sell it for 11, it's still profit. I will happily take that. Thank you so much, Sky. So let's voice in the background. Let's go on to the next trade. Alright, so as you can see here, this is the Valiant Vortex Mustachio. I tried selling it at 12, but then a bot decided to try and undercut me. So I'm doing a quick sell here at, this is 11 keys, 30 refined. It is still profit considering I paid 7 keys, 45, 40 unusual. So I've just accepted that now. Those should be coming through. I'm just going to actually tab out quickly. Yeah, they should be coming through very shortly because the bot is online. I'll come back when I got the items in my inventory. So just clicking off screen, but as you can see here, the keys did come through. So now I'm sitting on 15 keys. I literally converted a 7-key unusual into 11 keys and a bit. I did take away 3 that are refined because they were taken from my personal backpack, and you can see that here. Yeah, thank you. So 15 keys, a bunch of refined. It means I can go for another buy. Let's have a look around and see what we find. So after much negotiation with this trader, he was selling his Professionals Panama with Stormy Storm. He was wanting 16 keys, but I said to him, look, I only have 15 keys, 27 refined. And I had a discussion with him because he's like, he was confused about the inventories. I explained how, because of the trading series. He's like, okay, I'll do it for you. And so thanks to Dendrobates, now I have this nice unusual, which should be coming through any moment. We're going to go look at it on the sniper. Sorry about the background noise. And just like that, we've got a Stormy Storm Professionals Panama. Really, really nice unusual. Picked it up for a bit of a discount. I'm the only seller on the market. And it's a super old price. It says 12 keys, but all the buyers are going at 14 to 15. So with that, I'm going to be looking at about 16 to start with, and say buyout to being 16. But honestly, decent trade. Let's go to the next one. Alright, so I was looking at trying to sell this Panama, and something I realized when attempting to sell it, I did get a couple of really nice offers. Like I had someone who was willing to pay 16.5, but then they turned out that they didn't want it. The thing about it is because it's a very outdated price, people weren't biting it at 16 keys. So basically I've cut my losses and dropped it down to 14, meaning I made a little bit of loss on this trade. And I just got to confirm the trade on my phone. But in all honesty, losing a little bit of profit like that's not that bad, considering we started at 10 keys, opened some crates and got a little bit extra, and we're still at 14 keys, nearly 15, and we could look at buying a 15 to 16 key unusual. So let me go confirm that trade, and I'll sort out my backpack. Something else to note as well. So I just received a message. Yeah, cool. So I had way too much metal. It was cutting into my normal backpack, and I had no idea what was what. I think I had like 0.4 something off it. But what I've done is I've compacted it down to a key. That scrap metal is just one that was spare. As you can see, this is all my normal metal. There's the 4 keys in my normal inventory. So as you can see, we've got 15 keys there and 4 keys in the inventory, which is important for the series. But I will do the math on what my actual backpack is, but starting from 10 keys with a bit of an opening, we're sitting at 15 keys now, which is definitely not bad. And that's where I'm going to call episode 1. Next time, hopefully, we'll get a couple of trades that will actually give us like mad profit. I mean, 5 keys in one episode is still, like, really good. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Like, favorite, subscribe for more. My link's in the description if you want to trade or check out any of my socials. All those are down there in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and just remember to stay classy, San Diego. Peace.
Give them prayer hands, say what's up, America. Half of you should know me, right? Other half